And call this Facilities Committee meeting call to order at 10:06 a.m. on February 13th. Ms. Monroe, would you please take the roll?
Jeff Barr.
Present.
Ryan Green.
Here.
Kyle Cook.
Here.
First item on the agenda, and the only item on the agenda, is to review and discuss the American Legion lease proposal/agreement. I see the commander and another guest. I'm sorry, sir, I don't know your name. Thanks for coming.
I'm Bruce Nixon, I'm the finance officer for the American Legion.
Finance officer even sounds more important than the commander.
It is.
Yes.
So I asked to put the meeting together and discuss this. We obviously don't make decisions, but the purpose of the committee is to take a look at the lease, the proposal, et cetera, and start sharing that information with council as a whole, and/or potentially have a workshop meeting with council of the whole, so that we can give a recommendation of what either one of you, if you would, for the sake of my point of view, was to kind of give the highlights of the fundamental changes of what the lease currently is and what you're proposing. Not the legalese, the fundamental changes. Hey, we want the city to put on a new roof because I said so. Those are fundamental changes. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Would you mind going to the microphone just because we're recording? Thank you.
And if you want to sit in that chair and
Yeah, you can
talk in
pull
the
the
mic,
microphone.
you can do that here, right?
That's fine, I can, that's good.
Yeah, if you want to sit down, it'll capture too.
Not that old, Teresa.
And there is no 3-minute time limit
Yeah.
since
Okay.
I'm asking, so you got plenty of time.
Okay, so one of them, the 90-day clause, the wording, on that one, we just changed the wording a little bit to make it, to correct some of the issues with it. You know, it wasn't worded very well and could have some misinterpretations there, so we changed that, but we left that in there, that the city can still come back with 90 days notice and take.
That's number 4 on the lease agreement, page 1 of 8 of the lease, right?
The other one we put in there was a 30-year, this is new, this is not changing the existing, this is adding, the amendment was to put in a 30-year protection. So if we're gonna spend $350,000 to remodel it, we wanna protect that investment, be able to recoup our money and increase our ability to get back to the city. You guys know, last year we gave back 19,000, our goal is 25,000 and 30,000 eventually. One of the other ones that we want to do, which will help us raise more money, was putting in there that right now only members can have alcohol in the building. We want to change that so people who rent our facility can have alcohol. I think I talked to the chief about that, and there wasn't a concern as far as police department, so we just wanted to offer that to people. I think we have in there that we could get a liquor license, but I also believe there's a statement that says we can never operate a bar out of there. Because once you operate a bar in this type of organization, your focus moves there and away from community service. So we don't want that ever to happen, at least for the remainder of the 95 years.
So could you talk a little bit more about the alcohol when you say, first stick with the Legion. What would you guys be doing with alcohol?
We wouldn't be doing anything. I mean, we have beer in our refrigerator, which is allowed by our lease for our only members.
Okay.
So that's what we would do. We'd never, I mean, we might have a special dinner and allow people to bring theirs in.
So it's not selling, it's
No, it's
consuming.
not selling, yeah. The only thing we'd want a liquor license for is if we were doing a lot of events, it would be a revenue stream for us. So
A what
instead of-
event?
If we were doing a lot of events.
A lot of,
Events.
I misheard.
So, weddings, stuff like that, we could require them to purchase the alcohol through us.
All right, what is that, an
Bring it in.
F5 or something?
Yeah.
rather?
Yeah, so that's the
Sounds
only
right.
reason we wanted
It's
that
just
in
temporary.
there. Now that, depending on liability, insurance, we may never do that. So we just want that as an
And it
option.
also.
It's not in our plans.
And you really kind of need to be doing like 3 to 4 events at least, because to recoup the cost for that temporary liquor license too. So yeah, they would have to be.
But that'd be on the leasing of your.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, so that whether you do or do not is not the issue, is that with this, it allows you to. So Ryan wants to rent a place to celebrate his 40th birthday. And he wants to.
Couple years.
He wants to consume alcohol there. So he would have to go through you guys to rent it, pay extra to consume alcohol. Would he have to get a permit?
No, I think what they're asking, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, is basically in the lease right now, the only people that are allowed to drink on those facilities are us vets. Right? Now they want to open it up so when Ryan has his party there, he can bring his own booze and drink. That's really it.
And it doesn't require anything
No,
special?
the only thing
Any kind of-
special that he's talking about with the liquor license is if the Legion themselves want to do events, then they can get one of those liquor licenses if they'd like to do an event for the liquor, just like Downtown Johnstown or Historical Society.
Understood.
So no, this is just, wouldn't cost him any more.
Which would go through my approval for that alcohol.
Because it'd be
It'd be a permitted.
permitted, like a permanent permit, if you
Correct.
will.
Yeah,
Because,
that's more than 5 years down the line if it would ever happen. Nothing we're talking about in the future.
understood.
Well,
So-
if we're giving you the contract, it can happen tomorrow.
Right,
so-
but we don't have plans for
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
happen.
So the liquor permit would allow you to have it there, consume it there,
Be consumption of.
consumption only, they couldn't sell it. But then, all right, so I'm good with that. So then Ryan wants to rent the facility through this agreement, it allows him to bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't, you don't
Doesn't
need
allow me to
anything.
sell it.
I do have one question on that too. Like, you don't necessarily need it in your lease that we could allow you to have a temporary liquor license. Only because like any nonprofit organization that wants to put on an event to do that, to have liquor, they just have to apply for a temporary liquor license.
I don't believe that's true because the lease right now says only members can.
Well,
have it.
right, I'm just saying, if you've got it both in there to where, as long as we're allowing you to have, like Ryan, for this
Yeah.
example, to drink, then you don't necessarily need the wording of a liquor license in there.
I'm doing a lot of
Well, we
drinking.
want it in there so.
And that's just me,
with growth-
like, asking.
Yeah, so with growth, we don't, right now, we haven't looked into it, we're not planning on doing it. But in 10 years, if we're having a lot of events there and there's a lot of people bringing alcohol, we're losing that revenue stream.
Right.
That's when we would want that.
But as long as
ability to
we're
have a liquor
allowing
license.
alcohol to be on the premises to be consumed by all, I don't think you need it in there about a liquor license, because you can apply for that, anybody can apply for that.
If it's
Well,
not something that they're willing to do now, or they're willing to do in 5 to 10 years, why don't we just nix it from the contract, and whenever it comes up, then you can add it to.
Well, yeah, it's really just the rewording of that, because if, it's one, all you really need is to allow people to come there and drink.
Yeah, we just wanted, since we were doing the
Yeah.
amendments, rather than going through
Right.
this again and getting attorney costs again in 5 years if we want to do it now, so that way it's protected. So in 50 years, if we're still there and they want to get a liquor license.
I don't have a problem leaving it in there now of what you want to do. What I want to do is, I'm taking the assumption that as soon as you get this agreement, is that you'll be able to do it. I don't care when you do it.
Yeah.
And I just want to, because it is city-owned property, that the risk is borne by the Legion, not by the city.
Yes.
That's all. So you, through the lease, you would have permission. I want to go back to Ryan's rental of the place. What I would, I think before I would sign off on this lease is, where's your, do you have supplemental rules, policy, procedure, regulations, whatever you want to call them, when you do go rent it out to Ryan, that you must do this?
Remain in the building, kind of like basically rules of if you are going to consume, then this is what you need to provide.
Right, which is not reinventing the wheel. I'm sure they're out there somewhere that and I'm looking to chief for some maybe direction or having this discussion, in my Parks and Rec days. You know, you had to be cleaned up and out of there by midnight.
Yes.
Right? I don't want to dictate what you want to do out there, but also, you know, the burden of,
Can I make a recommendation?
I'm listening, sir.
Following where you're going. What I recommend is that we make an appendix to the lease that, or I'm sorry, an appendix to the contract that has required lease language. So what you'd say is, any lessee, any lease agreement must contain this language, and you dictate or propose. I like both of the proposals. One of them is, all alcohol must be consumed inside. Second one is, premises must be cleared by midnight. Both of those are great additions, and you can make that an appendix that would require us to have it in any lease.
yeah, we need that in there just for the protection of the city, and then, so
I
that,
also don't want to be the one dictating the lease, though, like that, I would.
yeah,
Out of here, but
yeah.
ultimately.
Well, that would
something
fall
that
on them.
You guys should bring, and then you provide it to the city for our review. Is that?
Yeah, and I think, if you
I'm
don't.
okay with that, Chief. If you've got informal bullet points that are not a counter proposal, but things you'd go, hey, we'd love to see these, right? That helps us.
I would love to see, like, I'm saying midnight, I'm not done to say it'd have to be midnight, but,
Well, technically, the park closes at dawn,
Yeah.
so.
We have someone that has to be there to close and clean, so
Right,
we're really comfortable with that.
I would say your rentee, especially with alcohol, is that,
Yeah.
that's.
You're done it. I knew what you meant.
That
Yeah.
and-
Opens at dawn, closes at dusk.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
indemnification
Yeah.
by the rentee that having alcohol in there, you're subletting to Ryan of language in there about, you know, like security deposit for the building. And then now you're gonna have alcohol, there's an additional security deposit,
Yep.
right? And it's just a deterrent. We all know Ryan's a butthole and he'll trash the place, but you're just deterring him not to trash the place as much as he normally would. You get what I'm saying? Some things like that, to give you some bullet points, sir, is, obviously, no, well, I shouldn't say obviously. I mean, adults can consume alcohol in the presence of children. I don't think I object to that in any way, but, I don't know if I'd necessarily want to see a 21-year-old celebrating a party in there either, though. You know, maybe there's a, and I'm just throwing out my own ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm only going
And
from
for those
experience.
watching at home, Jeff's representations of my partying days are not accurate. This is on a recording.
I'm just using Ryan as an example.
I thought about that.
I have
Sorry,
a couple years
sorry.
until my 40th
Sorry,
birthday,
Ryan.
too.
At least you said.
That in my Parks and Rec days, we did not allow, you know, like under the age of 25 to, if they were consuming alcohol, they could not rent the facility, just because there was too much risk and illicit and unwanted behavior from that kind of thing. So those are a couple of things that I would like to see in the addendum of what your rules would be.
So I'll add to it if that's okay.
Please.
I think that we would have an alcohol addendum to our lease. So the general lease does not permit alcohol in a blanket way. You'd be signing a second document. The lessee on that second document would be responsible for anybody being overserved, right?
Right.
And monitoring that situation
Yep.
as part of that as well.
Right.
Our goal is, you know, weddings and wakes, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two, and butthole parties.
Stag parties up there.
Quit calling Ryan that.
It's already on the record.
I'm already on the record now.
Yeah, it is on the record, yeah.
So I think.
Put that in the
I think
minutes.
the others are good addenda. You know, we're reserving the right to not extend that addendum in certain situations. The goal is not to go out and say, well, you're having a child's birthday party, why do you need to sign the alcohol addendum?
Right,
You-
right.
I don't think there's, and a lot of what we do now are, hey, we're having a baby shower. You kind of go, okay, well, that, you know.
Well, you want mimosas.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, listen, if it's a couple's baby shower, there needs to be booze.
No, and I get it, and that's something we might have to think about with our park hours too, because if the park closes at dusk, people wanna have a wedding that at least goes till 8 PM usually,
Yeah.
you know? So, that might be something that we have to think about over there too, because if you're gonna have a party, you know, I don't wanna cut your party off at 6 PM in the wintertime, you
Well,
know?
we're containing it to the indoors, I think,
Right.
still as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
There, you know, one of the things we've talked about from a build-out perspective is, do we put a pavilion in the back, right? And that might be something we have to extend later on and go, okay.
Yeah, makes
We
sense.
think we'd like to do that too, but it's not here right now.
Yeah,
I think we're interested in being conservative because we have to revisit what our insurance requirement would
Right.
be in light of this change.
yeah,
We also are not at all interested in standing in court or standing in our agent's office with a claim, right? Where something happened in the community as a result of that activity there. The city's standing next to us because they own the building.
right.
Right, and so we'd like to be in a place where we're never having to have that conversation, but we're also not limited. So we're walking a line here, we're not limited in how our facility can be used.
Right.
It's technically really ineligible for weddings today, I mean, it just is.
Yeah, it's not
We'd
good.
like to be able to change that.
Sure, I understand that it generates revenue and it would be, I'm sure you guys will do a nice job of renovating the building when you get there and stuff, and it will become popular as
As a wedding and wake scenario,
Yeah.
as you said.
as a venue. I'm
Yeah,
sure it'll
and
be
just as
more
a venue in
affordable than
general,
other places.
Do you have a list of what you will allow to be consumed? Or
Like the types of alcohol?
yeah, like the types of alcohol, are we allowed to bring in cakes, stuff like that? We were,
I guess that would be a question when we give that one for our attorney. Once we have the lease, we know the lease is going through, we're gonna redo our sublease contract. And that, we'll probably consult with the liquor attorney to get their advice, and we wanna have a hold harmless agreement. So we'll have all that in
would you
place.
have an additional charge if you were to allow the consumption lease? Would you have, I guess, also for your partners, purposes, there an additional fee that if you, this is how much the rent, but if you had consumption.
I would encourage it.
We would increase that because
Helps pay for the insurance on it.
building and issues and insurance.
Yeah,
And one of the other things I think we talked about, and maybe that's for us to discuss with you, we also talked about putting in the lease that the police department's able to come on the property at any time to verify.
Yeah, we're called there, we're allowed.
Yeah. Well, even if you're not called, you can, if you drive by and you think it's getting rowdy, you guys have access to the building. So we're gonna put something there, and maybe just that language is a deterrent to getting the beer bongs out.
Yeah, it'd be a consent. Basically, it's a consent to waive the right to privacy.
No, and I've seen plenty of venues where, you know, we've planned a couple weddings recently in the family where we look at the venues and their rules and their quiet hours and things like that. I mean, there are a number of houses that are within earshot of that, but if you're gonna have, you know, your events in the building, you're fine, obviously. But, you know, when you're gonna have them outside, if we go pavilion situation, then it's a totally different deal because you have houses within earshot and, you know, loud music and a DJ can be prohibitive after, I think most people here in town after 9 o'clock, I think they don't wanna hear it, so.
We haven't been getting a lot of specific language from us because we talked about, we want to gather some of those agreements from
Right.
other places in
Right.
addition to talking to council, you know, okay, what's the best practice here? Same thing with regard to a deposit. It would be great to get $1,000 security deposit. Does it, and it certainly would be prohibitive. Someone definitely wants to control what they're doing if they've got that much outlay. The question is, where is that line where it prohibits them from renting it because it's too much.
Right.
Right, they just can't afford the outlay versus the deterrent effect that I've got $500 sitting here, and if we screw up, I lose it.
Right.
Remember that work both ways, depending on who you have.
Yes.
You know, 1,000 might not be anything to others.
Yes.
They don't care, we get about 30 people together, we don't care, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's minimal.
Right.
Because we've had those incidences happen within our city where they rent it or something and the cost didn't matter.
Yeah.
And property was destroyed,
Everybody pays $30 and we get to trash the place, right? Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything on the lease? I think the other one was the rentals. I think right now we're limited to 3 days at a time. And we wanted to expand that, so like, a few years ago, there was a reading program that leased the space. We donated it to them because it was for the kids around the community to come in there for summertime. But right now, that's prohibited by our lease, so we want to expand that, and we have the language in there that it would be up to the city's manager's approval to allow us to go more than 5 days.
Yeah, so I see in there that it's lessee will not in any way assign or transfer this lease or in any interest therein without express prior written consent of the lessor.
Yeah.
Is it considered a transfer of a lease if you have a short-term rental in there? I mean, because you're basically subleasing.
Our attorney.
He said it's considered a transfer and not just a
he wanted
sublease?
that in there.
Okay,
What we're interested in is if the chip company or any of its suppliers
yeah,
decide they'd like to do a 2-week training and need a venue that they can put 100 people in,
Yeah.
we'd like to be a candidate. We're not a candidate when we're restricted to 3 days. That does not mean anybody's staying over, none of that
Right.
changes. It's just, will you come and open up in the morning, have your training and leave, and can we have you hold a 2-week or 3-week training?
Yeah.
And we can't under our current lease.
yeah, or if you wanted to have some sort of convention or trade show, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, like,
Pokemon card show, I think, would be very popular.
Say again, please?
A Pokemon card show. Pokemon.
nostalgia.
You'll have the Johnstown kids up there flooding that place. Just saying.
Well, I mean, deer and turkey expo, things
She
like
says I
that,
agree.
those,
What about those nuts that dress up? We should have one of those. Chiefs love that. The furries will always.
just have a Ren Fair,
I think he's good with Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I said let's stick with Pokemon.
Renaissance Festival.
I think that's twice in 2 days he's brought that up.
We're really interested in, is there an opportunity for people to have extended training event kind of things? Or, there are entities now that have retirement seminars, and they may want to have 2 or 3 2-day events back to back that makes it more efficient for them. We'd love to be able to support that. We can't today.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with that, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I had an issue with was just the transfer of the lease, because I wasn't thinking about it in those terms. I was thinking about it in terms of, well, hey, we've decided we're done, and we want to try to pass this off to a different group now, and
Any other fundamental changes to, so this is an amendment to the existing lease?
Yes.
It's not a new lease,
Right.
it's just an amendment.
So it'll continue with whatever's left, 94 years, 95
Okay.
years.
I think the key for us, you wanted the spirit of this as you started. I think, Jeff, you did a great job. The key for us is, we'd like to, we envision the facility to be a community facility. The American Legion is an entity that tries to give back to veterans in the community. We'd like to do that for the duration of the lease that your predecessors and our predecessors agreed upon. We're in a place today where we need to make capital investment in it. That may include us borrowing to make that happen.
Sure.
We don't want to be in a spot where we make that investment and lose the facility based on the terms of our existing agreement.
Makes sense.
We either have to make that kind of a change, or we have to figure out where we're going to live, because we constantly feel like it's at risk, right? Under
Well-
the current terms.
That's a great segue, and the proposed to it, I think once we kind of get some further language and stuff, that I'm okay with it. I don't see the chief over there shaking his head violently. No, I feel like he's supportive of it. If he's supportive of it, I think we could move forward. But you make a great segue into that I want to talk a little bit about the existing lease. You've heard us say before, in all honesty, it is a city property. It's not the building, it's the property of potentially it is a potential site for a city hall and/or PD, or just PD. Is it high on the list of? Not, to be honest. Where I'm going with it is that the existing conditioning of the building, that if we were to terminate the lease in some way to, I forget the exact language, like or similar,
Yep.
that we would need to address the existing lease that addressing the language, you're gonna make improvements to it, right? You still have a lease. What if, hypothetically, 5 years, 10 years from now, after you've done this, and it's like, holy crap, whatever, now this is the number one choice for a city hall, police building, that for me is that we owe you a like or similar to what the building exists today, not what your building looks like after your improvements. See what I'm saying? I can't speak for anybody. I got 2 more years on council. Will I run again? Probably. During that time, because I do want to see PD and City Hall get done while I'm on council, and I probably need to get reelected to see that through. But I don't know who's on council 8 years from now, because our lease with the school, it's 1 5-year and then 1 3-year extension. So that's why I say 8 years. It could be a whole different council on there. And I think it would be, I think it's prudent that existing leadership with both organizations address the existing lease of, if the city gave you notice, we need the building for whatever, what's the like or similar?
Well, we've kind of talked a little bit about that, and I think we're all in agreement that it's not just the like or similar, it's that when that was written, I think it's when we had multiple locations to where we could just easily,
Yep.
relocate the Legion, and now that we only have one location, and that's theirs.
Yeah, well, you're in. That's it.
We might need to reword it in a way to where future leadership, if that were to happen, it doesn't put the city in a predicament of having to pay rent and pay for them to be somewhere else, and I don't think they want that either, from,
Yeah.
conversations that we've had.
No, the one thing, if we took that out, we're not gonna do capital improvements.
Well-
It's kind of like when the township came in here and offered that horrible lease for the old fire department. It would have been stupid of anybody on council to accept that and to put money into a building you're gonna turn around and lose.
Yeah.
So if we dump $350,000 in this building, and you come and say, we want it back, we're gonna give you something else that you now have to put another $350,000 in to get it back up to where this one was, it would be, I should be in front of a firing squad if I make a decision like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I don't disagree with you if I was in your shoes, right? I don't disagree. I think it's something, though, that if I'm hearing you correctly, is once you make this improvements, if we had to exercise that part of the lease to give you 90 days you would expect what your building looks like after your renovations, not before your renovations, right?
What we wrote into our revisions to the contract was a time window in which you couldn't exercise it.
It's in this
Yeah.
amendment?
Yes.
Yeah, so it says
Could you-
90, we have 90 days.
Well,
Basically.
no, 30 days, 30 years.
Or 30
So
years.
You have 30 years of.
That's what you're referring
Yeah.
You
to.
have 30 years, the city can never take it from you.
Right.
That's right.
After that.
So what we're kind of saying is, no, we get it. After a certain period of time, candidly, a time duration under which we could have reasonable enjoyment of what we've had and the ability to recoup our investment in what we've done. If you get to that place and you have to take it back,
I understand what you're saying.
Is that 30
That's
years
what
on top
that
of the
would be.
current lease?
No,
agreement, or just 30 years from the time?
30-year window.
We,
And I'm
we
just-
couldn't give
I'm just
them,
clarifying.
we couldn't give them 90 days to say we're taking it. No, they got it for
Right.
30 years. Then you can, on
Yeah.
30 years and 1 day, then you can give us a
Yes.
90-day.
Yeah.
right.
I follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
good.
it's really, the investments are gonna help the city.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's so many groups now, and we all go to the same watering hole for money. That watering hole's drying up,
Yeah.
it's getting very
Yeah.
restricted. This enables us to do more events and to make more money off of the building, which allows us to give more back to the city or continue the 15 to 20,000 a year.
And potentially be one of those watering holes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's our goal eventually, is to,
Yeah.
you know, the historical society's remodeling.
I'm already asking for money.
Yeah.
We wanna be
No,
able to use that money.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I'd be doing the same thing as well too if I was in your shoes. I'm not in your shoes. I'm on, if you will, like I like to say, the other side of the other side of the table or the desk. That even with the remodeling of 300,000, the land is more valuable than all of it because of what it offers to the city of a potential site. That's all. I'm not saying that I'm not, or that I'm against or for. What I'm saying is that we just need to think about that of that 30 years is important to them. I get that, to recoup their investment. What is important for the city to also have A, B, C, X, Y, Z in there? Because it could be, I'm just making stuff up at this point in time. Let's say it cost you $300,000. Well, the land may be way more valuable than $300,000, where it's, if it needed to exercise its right of ownership of that land, that it is some kind of sliding scale, that it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, this is the payout. If it's 20 years from now, it'd be less of a payout because you had more time to recoup those costs. You know, hey, you gave me 5 years, you gotta pay me back 90%. 10 years, you gotta pay me back 70%. I think we should have probably some language in there, only as to give the city an option, that if it needed to, and I wanna be completely honest, I said it again, I just wanna emphasize, I don't think that that's a viable location for a city hall and/or PD. I don't. And I'm seeing thumbs up from a high-ranking official in
Well,
there
I think
as
you
well,
ranked it
too.
a 4 the last time we talked.
But
about it.
I hope you guys understand when I say this, I feel like we could find some common ground language that gives options to both, that would work for both. Would you be, because I'm not saying this is, that I wholeheartedly say that this is one-sided, but it's one-sided that we can't even do it if we needed to, right? And again, I know what's guaranteed, death and taxes, and you've got 4 more years left on council, you too. But it could be different council leadership that says, hey, I think it's a great location for a city hall.
Yeah.
It just gives them the right to exercise that. It's gonna cost some money, which I get. Thoughts on that? I'm done talking. And if you say, Jeff, that's much hot air, I'm not in agreement with it, then say so.
I mean, I think I want us both to have a lot of leeway as far as future planning. I really don't want to paint the city into a corner as far as future planning, because we're the same as you guys. We have a really finite amount of money that we can do projects. I still think it was a poor idea to sell this building, but I got outvoted. So now I'm working hard for the next project, right? So that's where we are. So I don't want to paint the city into a corner either. But I think that we have a good enough working, relationship where we can kind of overcome that if it gets to that scenario. Today, right now, we don't have a plan for where we're going to go moving forward. And, that's kind of where we are. And I don't want to make you guys wait. It's not fair to make you guys wait on your future planning either, because you didn't ask for this. So it's just the reality of the situation that we're in. which I told you at the time of the vote, you know, I said, where are we gonna go? The only thing that we own is where you guys are. So it becomes, you know, something that we have to plan. Will we have a plan in the next 6 months? Will we have a plan in the next 2 years? I'm not sure, you know, based on where we are today. So I think we're gonna have to, I think the lease needs to reflect, you know, the reality of the situation of, you know, I want you guys to get a return on your investment. If you're going to put the time, the energy, and the money into rehabbing that property, I want you guys to get the quiet enjoyment and everything out of it. If it becomes a scenario where we have to move in on that property because it's the only thing we own and can afford, then I want us to have some ability to do that as well. And maybe some sort of, you know, obviously, if we had to move into a building and retrofit or build new, that's gonna be significant cost to us. On top of what you guys have, obviously, it would also enhance what you guys have. If we're gonna have a bigger footprint on that property, you're also gonna have a bigger footprint on that property, so I think
The
Yeah.
bad thing with that property, it's limited to where you can build,
it is.
because basically I found out from
The dump.
Herzog Bus, where the basketball court is and the weed garden, used to be a volleyball court, that's the dump. They used to come up and dump it over that hill there.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we don't know how much dirt's over top of it,
Yeah.
so we can't build there. If we tried to, when we uncover some old garbage. that
So where the
we get-
memorial is, you're talking about those courts right next to it, right?
That whole
Yes.
area.
And when you say dump, you're talking about dumping of
Trash.
Trash.
Trash dump, yeah.
actual trash?
Yes.
Yeah, people
And-
come up and throw their old appliances over there, their trash, or whatever.
Whatever they didn't
50
burn,
years ago, so
they would
who knows
dump.
what's in
Yeah.
there. So
That
if
was
we-
the dump.
If we tried to build there and uncovered something, we're giving the EPA a.
Yeah, you're gonna pay
invitation to
out.
come over.
Right.
Probably needs extensive remediation before you can build it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that site is probably not the most ideal one, you know, especially for
Yeah.
police department, unless you want to get them some snowmobiles during the winter to run calls on.
That's why I'm saying it's not,
But I think my opinion, and this isn't, for me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not doing it for me. I don't own the building, I don't own the Legion, you know, I'm elected as well. I'm doing it for what would benefit the city. I think it would benefit the city to have a much nicer community center, for them to come in and rent and have parties. And it also gives us a revenue opportunity to continue to buy safety equipment for police department.
wholeheartedly agree.
fire
I think
departments.
everybody agrees it's a great.
Yeah, it's a good
We
idea.
appreciate the investment.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, we wish we would have been involved back then, because this was a horrible lease. You know, we made a worse decision, you know, if you think this was a bad decision to sell it and not have a place to go, we
Yeah.
sold our building downtown.
Downtown.
And,
Henson's Pub, that whole
Yeah, that whole building
the
was-
American Legion.
I
Really?
remember now.
yeah.
Yes,
And so
I'm
we-
old enough to remember.
We sold that and sold it at a very good price.
That's rearview mirror, Commander.
Yep, and
Unfortunately,
this
it just
lease
is what it
was-
is.
I mean, I look at it and none of those people who signed it, well, at least the ones that are still alive and the one I've talked to, none of them knew that the city could take it back from us. It was a horrible decision if you look at that lease, and like I said, the lease was almost elder abuse, because it was, you're selling something and you're getting something that you're on a daily renewable lease.
Well,
You have no home. So, yeah, it was.
for the essence of time to kind of move it along,
yeah,
like what I'm suggesting is some kind of prorated scale. When I throw that out there to you, you would have to take it back to your leadership, but do you think that's something that's palatable and fair? So when we talk about a mutual agreement that both are comfortable with, I'd be comfortable with that in that it gives an option to, where the building today as it exists for improvements is what we owe. The sliding scale would be something of your investment of dollars that, you know, in 5-year blocks, 10-year blocks, devil in the detail with that the city would have to pay back. And the reason why I say, you know, define similar it would almost be cost prohibitive for us. But at least it's an option for the city, because something similar is already existing. I'm not trying to take that off the table or anything else. It's about that, we'd still have to honor that. And, you know, if you went with $300,000, you want to do 30 years, it, you know, anything in the first 10 years, you know, it's 90%. Year 10, 1 day through year 20 is, you know, 60%.
Yeah.
If we could agree to something like that, I think it would be prudent,
Yep.
right? I think it gives you guys some level of comfort that, hey, they still got to provide us this, and we're getting our money back, so we'll just put it into the new facility. If you guys, I don't see a,
You're talking about an amortization schedule essentially, and something that would be considered, our interest really is paying off the note, right? If you
Yeah.
have a note.
yeah, well, exactly. That would give you some assurances that if we invoke the 90 days, you're getting your money back to pay the note. I think we could work out something.
Yeah,
think so.
I'm fine with that. I think Kyle and I talked about that. We could
Okay.
have the attorney figure out something, put a
Yeah.
inflationary value to it, obviously.
Yeah, if you guys-
That way everybody's
10 years from now.
Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's-
If you guys would put that proposal together on that piece, on that sliding scale, prorated, whatever you want to call it, I think we could work through that and find some common ground there and be good with it.
All right, and we'll put together a couple of bullets for lease terms for the alcohol content, or the alcohol permit.
Yeah, I would suggest an additional security deposit for your own selves, and it's a higher rental value.
Yeah,
Do you want it in the lease, or do you want a copy of the rental contract with that wording that we will give to the people, and that's a
My,
5-year reviewable with council?
my advice would be that if your legal is reviewing
does
it,
that help you for when you approve
We would just send something like that to legal for their review.
yeah,
because when you approve, if you have to approve a
Both
liquor
documents.
permit,
I would
does
say
that?
both documents
okay.
is what Jeff would like.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense based off the comments he made earlier, essentially something that documents this is the rules of
Yeah.
whatever, so essentially would be an additional document to.
right?
Larry, I'd like it outside of the lease.
Yeah.
Only because from time to time, we may, from experience between us and
Yeah.
the chief, say,
That too.
we need this additional requirement.
Yeah.
We add it, have you look at it.
Well, how about-
No, yeah, I don't want it to be part of the lease. The only things that concern us in the lease is, you know, things that are not gonna change over 20
Yeah.
years.
I would say in that addenda with the rules is that we should put in there that these are to be reviewed annually through the facilities committee.
So that way.
That way we're
we can
reviewing
work
it,
Together and say, hey, I
Yeah.
had this problem, let's try to correct it.
or as needed, but at least
Yeah.
annually,
Same on
we're
your end.
reviewing them together.
That's
and-
reasonable.
And we can make changes and move on about it. Yeah. Okay.
You want annually or biannually or?
Annually
Annually's fine.
or as needed, but annually, at least well, it doesn't, we're always gonna sit down and talk, but it would make sure that we sit down annually to review and discuss and amend as needed, but isolated situations that may come up, we'll do it then too.
We're talking about our lease agreement with the,
Correct.
Correct.
Not,
Yeah.
not the master lease, but the, subletting, as I
Yeah.
refer to it as.
Working together on your lease that you provide to the.
You're right.
All right.
The only other thing I wanted to say, just from experience, is that all of those things with trash and all of that other kind of stuff, you can mitigate it all. I've seen it all before. The old police impound lot, City of Columbus Police impound lot down at Whittier Street, the Franklin County Metro Parks, they mitigated that by bringing in nearly 3 feet of clean topsoil to cap all of that off, and that's right along the Scioto River. So it all can be done. And the golf course nearby the American Legion and VFW in Gehanna, just on the south side there, behind the graveyard, that's zoned commercially. You can work around a bunch of things as long as you satisfy the EPA is all. That's why I know it is an option to build, is all I'm saying. You can expand the footprint. It's gonna be, that's why I say it's not it's not really ideal because it would be costly to mitigate all of that, to build a footprint big enough for a city hall and PD building versus what it is today. That's all I'm saying.
Big pile of dirt next to McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
right.
move it over.
There you go.
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else on here, committee members, that you want to talk about? A lot of this is legalese, but the fundamental issues I felt like we've talked about.
No, and we've removed the relocation cost and having to find, yeah, so that was my big thing.
Yeah, the majority of the lease stayed the same, there were just those amendments, and then I think he cleaned up some of the wording.
Okay. So when do I feel like we would need to meet again, this committee? Or do we I feel like we need to meet again so that we can see the changes and stuff.
With that amount of changes, I'd probably like
Right.
to. I mean,
So.
yeah.
Do we want to wait till April? So you've got February and March? I know.
How long do you think it's gonna
Well,
take your attorney to do that?
I would say maybe, let's shoot for 2 weeks.
In
I was
2
gonna say
weeks?
Next week, but I don't know if he'll have time to do it, because he has some stuff going on, but hopefully in 2 weeks.
Is that okay timing wise?
Yeah, let me
Is
check
our
with Brad and
attorney-
make sure. I
So
mean,
once your attorney reviews it, our attorney has to review it.
Yeah, I think our attorney's been working with your attorney to.
Okay.
He's like giving it to him before he submits it to us.
Okay.
So that way he's
Okay.
okay with it. So, because he's reviewed all of this,
So
all the changes.
3 weeks from today is Friday, March 6th.
So and then we have a council meeting the 3rd, we have a council meeting 17th,
So can we do it that Friday prior?
right? 3rd and 17th?
The last Friday in February?
Yeah, so that
Does
would
that
be the
give you enough time?
27th.
So
That's-
if you guys
Yeah.
like everything,
Third
does
and
that give you?
That's
enough
2
time?
weeks.
If we did,
Let's do this. Let's go ahead and tentatively schedule a meeting for Friday, February 27th. Okay? That's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Your legal is gonna be doing all the stuff.
yeah,
You can,
I don't know their schedule, but
you can get it to this committee. Would we just send it straight to Yaz for a review?
Depends on whether your attorney is sending it to him.
So you're saying that they're sending it to Yaz,
yeah.
so he should have it, so if he's got it by the 27th, we approve it here, it can go on the meeting,
On the
the
3rd,
council meeting for the 3rd.
yeah.
So-
He has been working with, their offices are within walking distance of each other, so. He-
I'm fine with that timeline, and then so if we give it to council then on
The 3rd.
the 3rd, we would be instructing the manager to enter into agreement with. But is that going to give enough time for the rest of full council to review, or the approach would be
Well, they won't
And
have,
in
I
that
mean, they're
meeting?
gonna have from Friday to,
In that meeting, we're recommending to approve, and here's the highlights of it all?
I think that would be the,
yeah.
Approve the amendments.
I don't know if you guys were talking to me, I didn't hear. If you're talking among yourselves, that's fine too.
Oh, you would just need a
we're both just sitting over
resolution.
here
Yeah.
wondering if it's rushed a
I
little
feel
bit,
like it's rushed, but.
because we don't know the schedule of our law or theirs.
Well, he said
Obviously, we want to get it
tentative,
done as fast as we can.
Well,
I think that's a good tentative schedule.
yeah.
If it
I
doesn't
think
work
that's a
out,
good
we
tentative
just-
schedule that gets it done. But just understand, we might get to the 3rd and council says, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
do we have, on the 3rd, we'll have finance committee meeting that night?
Safety service.
We'll have safety and service.
Perfect place
Yeah.
to bring it in under safety and service committee meeting that night on the 3rd. It's appropriate.
That's your side.
It's appropriate, and then we could let other council members know, we're going to be reviewing the lease under safety and service as well with the American Legion.
Is this a committee for safety service too?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
The people.
Same members.
Same members.
Same members.
Yeah.
But it allows, with the changes that we talked about today, it allows another committee, even though it's the same people, but we can inform the other council members, hey, we're going to be discussing it in safety and
A
service.
lot of them come here.
A lot of them
Yeah.
come here for it. And if both legal counsels could review it, fundamentally, that's been reviewed, if there was some minor change to the prorated agreement, instead of 10, it's 9. Instead of 20, it's 21, right? Those little itty bitty changes, I think we would all be most comfortable to say, and you guys could be there as well too. If it's some kind of small change like that, okay, we could just, line through it, make changes, and bring it to council as a
Well,
whole.
there's nothing that says so when we get it back from Yaz, from the attorneys, it can just be sent in an email to all of council.
Yeah.
That
I
would be
mean,
reviewed. Yeah, there's
yeah.
really only 4 things that are changing,
Yeah.
so it's not.
Yeah, I could put a narrative together to highlight what it is.
It'll be
and-
sent in an email of all of council, and then
Yeah.
you can say they'll review this at this committee meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can have a page that highlights all the changes and then have the.
perfect.
entire-
Your legal could put together that summary and, yeah.
That sounds good.
All right, that way it can keep moving along for your, I know you guys been waiting for a while, appreciate your patience, sorry it is taking so long. And we'll get it done that way. You guys comfortable with it?
I like it.
It works.
Chief, you got, Teresa, does that work timeline on the administrative piece?
Tentatively.
Tentatively,
Yeah.
provided it's all done, right? I mean, they,
What time were you thinking for the meeting on Friday? Is this time good? Same?
well, I don't think we'll need this meeting on Friday since we're gonna
We're
go,
gonna drop the Friday and do
Just do-
safety service.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
right, so safety service, there's no finance on that day. So could we do safety and service at 5 instead of 5:30?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it have to be on the agenda prior to, or can it be other?
We would want it on agenda on council on the 3rd so that we instruct the manager to enter into, well, to amend the lease with the American Legion is somehow the way it'd be worded, correct, Teresa?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, yea or nay?
Okay.
That way, it would be executed, and you guys can proceed with your project.
Okay.
It works.
Have we, shifting gears, like, as far as, it does say in the lease that they have to bring forward what they're proposing to do and gain acceptance. Is that through the manager or through council?
You're talking about the project?
The project.
The amendments to the building there?
Right.
So they did that, technically.
I
they already
remember
did
the
that.
presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, you want that all the same night?
I'm asking for the
Bring the
purpose of.
presentation to council on the 3rd,
Well, that-
since you're gonna be here anyway?
The changes would go through planning and zoning, right? We'd have to start with that, or
It-
design review.
It would.
We'd have to go design review, then planning and zoning.
It would, but I'm just asking if he wants like a public presentation or what you're,
Under the existing lease, where I read it, number 7, maintenance, letter B, leasee's responsibilities. Small b, leasee shall make no alterations or addition in or to the lease premises, or change the same or any part thereof in any way without the express prior written consent of lessor. The city is us, that's us.
well, they're gonna go
Right, I still
through-
think they can do that through planning and.
Yeah, they
zoning,
can go through
design
planning and
review.
zoning.
Like, that's still, because all we're doing is amending the lease, not
Planning and
necessarily.
planning and zoning is
What?
not the lessor. The city of Johnstown is the lessor.
To change the lease.
To change.
Yeah,
Building modifications would have to go to the board.
yeah, and that'll just go through design
That-
review.
that
'cause
is,
won't-
that's an absolute
yeah.
must, but it says, leasee shall make no alterations or additions to the lease premises, anyway, without the express prior written consent of lessor.
Yeah, I
Right.
think you'd have to do that first.
We have to-
They can proceed with your.
Well, right, but we don't have to do it for
we'd
this
have to-
specific task.
So do you want it to
No,
go?
no.
Get approved design.
We just have to, after, we could still do that after we approve the lease if we, or,
So do you want it to go through design review first and then come to us?
I think
'Cause
we just
that'd
need
be
to give
cleaner.
them permission to make alterations.
But I think this committee would be able to do that, right, based on what you read?
We're not the lessor.
No?
The city is.
The city is.
but, hold on, I just want to make sure, there's no amendment that is giving them permission, and what we're talking about today is not giving them permission to make.
Correct.
those.
I'm talking about
So that's
the
what I'm- so-
alterations.
So that's a separate thing, I don't think we need to do it together. All we're doing is amending the lease, and this is just my understanding, right? If all we're doing is amending the lease, then they can come after with the building improvements to us and ask for permission then. Like, we're not taking that out, and we're not, you know,
Well, I think on the March 3rd, we should do two things. Approve the lease, the amendment to the existing lease, and give them written permission to make the alterations by going through the correct process of design review board and planning and zoning.
Do you have all your plans for them?
Probably not.
No, we just have renderings, because we,
I mean, is that good?
Cleaner
But-
look, why don't we have them go through design review and then come to council, because their plan could be crazy, and if we're not
Yeah,
professional
I mean,
building experts,
I told you you
we're
couldn't
not
have
gonna
that slide
approve it, so
outside,
design
but, you
review
know.
does, and then,
you never know.
I like
So-
that better.
So you would have to come back and we would have to do another legislative action.
Yeah.
Giving written permission to make alterations upon design review board.
So design
review.
review makes the recommendation to council to make the changes, it comes back to council,
Yeah.
and I think it's cleaner that way.
I think you just
Yeah.
need to know the process to get,
yeah.
to get
We'd have
there.
to get-
I'm
Once,
tracking with you.
once we get the lease approved, we know we have some sort of protection, then we can get our mechanicals
Yep.
done. We submit it through design and review, zoning. Then, once we have any changes they want, then we present the.
I think it's after approval of design review board, I'm good that we would give the written permission to make. the
Yeah, they'll make a
Yeah.
recommendation to
Recommendation to
council, it'll
council.
come back to council, and then,
That way you guys know what you're approving.
yeah, if you come with the Sydney Opera House, then
Yeah.
they
Okay.
figure that out.
I just want to make sure that we did give,
Due process, yeah.
you're right, the due process is we must give written permission, that's
And
all.
I think, yeah, and that's a good question. I think we just do it after the board has already seen what they're proposing.
Okay.
I think there was one other change that I forgot about.
Not too late, dude.
On the original lease, it said attached map, but nobody can find an
Oh,
attached map.
I have a map.
Oh, do you?
We
Okay.
had one done.
Okay, okay. So that's what
The drawing.
we just took off the auditor's website.
Yeah, I will attach it on the new
Okay.
one. Have you seen it?
No.
He says your amended plans are gonna look like the Sydney Opera House, so,
That sounds great.
yeah.
Kyle said we can't have our slide.
It's just too risky.
We can still do our flower rocket range,
Yes.
or I mean, our Roman candle range.
Roman candle range?
Well, we're gonna do the cannonball run,
Yes,
the boxcar derby.
As long as I'm invited.
yes.
I'd like to bring up one more thing. I'm sorry to continue this out, but I think it's something that this committee should review. That as the Legion is making proposal to amend the lease, we should also be thinking about some of the same things of, is it appropriate to amend the lease? Number 8, covenants of lessee, letter K, talks about comprehensive liability, property damage, general liability of $1 million, property damage insurance, $750,000. I feel like it'd be appropriate to at least ask our legal, is that an appropriate amount now? I realize that if it increased, it would increase your cost, though it's minimus, because this is not a trampoline park or physical activity space. But this lease was done in 2014. Things have changed with,
750 doesn't get you much.
yeah, right. I think it'd be appropriate and fair and just to make sure that there's adequate coverage on there in the event of, because
My wild party burns your building down.
exactly, you would only be required to pay X, and if, 750,000 may not cut it, million may not
No,
cut
we
it.
concur. We expect that we'll have to change the amount and it never goes down.
Right, With the
To
renov-
cover the additional construction we do, we need the insurance to adequately replace whatever we build. Secondarily, we expect we have additional risk with the addition of alcohol.
Yep.
And so the agreement would, we'd work with our insurer to make sure that we've got adequate coverage for both. Obviously, you have to approve it.
so I would ask again that through your legal, that you review, et cetera, that you would, and I appreciate you guys, again, working with us, is to come back with letter K to say, this is what we're suggesting we should amend our lease to, is that these values go from 1 million to X and $750,000 to X, so that we can consider that.
Yeah.
I think it would be,
Can I alter that a little?
yes, sir.
I can talk with my insurance company and come back about what I recommend we carry for alcohol liability.
Right.
Until I know the amount of investment in the property and its subsequent value, I'm not going to be prepared to tell you what that ought to be.
So I think then with.
I agree with you, because that's why I said, I don't know what your repairs are gonna make that property worth.
Yeah.
So it's at least gotta be minimum value of what it's worth.
Yeah.
So
So-
Teresa, with the amendment to the lease, we would need to make some kind of language under letter K there, page 3 at the bottom, is that the committee and the Legion, by certain date in the future, we'll have to come back to it. I want to capture it in the agreement, or if it's through legislation that binds us to sit back down with you to discuss of what the appropriate insurance amounts would be. Fair?
Yeah, off the record, what I'll do, I realize it's all on record, I'll talk to my agent and go, okay, we don't know what it's gonna be. What's the difference in premium between $1.5 million and $2 million? And he says, oh, it's $200. I go, okay, well, $2 million's out of the park. Let's cover it for $2 million, then I can include it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the alcohol component or whatever needs to
Yeah.
happen there. If it starts to become, if there's like a line where they say, oh.
There'll be a
okay, if we
line of
cross this
demarcation.
line, It's way more expensive.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to
Yeah.
table it until we get there.
I think you'll find that under 5 million, it's all about the same.
What you got, chief?
What about also adding to the contract that that's to be done every X amount of years? Is that what
Can it be
you?
done with the one you already talked about?
Yeah, we
You're
can,
saying you
the-
want it to be increased with the potential for now, but, what happens in 10, 15 years or under a 30-year?
Yeah, I agree, on a
Well,
99-year
15
lease,
years,
the cost is gonna
like,
change
we're
quite a
looking at-
bit.
So what did you say, what date, 1999?
Yeah,
Is that
No.
when the?
Yeah, it's like.
14.
20 something.
2014 is when this
14 's when
lease
that lease
was.
was
There's
created.
a lot of changes from 2014 to now.
Yeah.
But what about
2026 to 2040.
years from now? So every X amount of years.
To
you guys
2113,
decided
it's gonna
that.
be quite a bit of difference
Prepare to
in insurance
review your
costs.
Insurance and.
Yeah,
present it to
that's a
the
good
council.
idea.
It's not a bad idea, chief.
Yeah.
So we take the dollar amount out of K and make it
Reviewable.
4-year, 8-year, 5-year reviewable.
Because I
Yeah.
think 20 years down the line, $1 million building is not going to be $1 million. It's going to be.
And they don't get
We'll
less
talk to
likely to
council.
burn down over time.
Yeah, we'll talk to council. That creates a little bit of a loophole too. So what we'll probably do is wind up saying, we're gonna carry insurance that's adequate to do these things. We also
Yeah.
don't wanna be in a spot where the people down the line in your seat go, we need you to carry $1 billion of insurance.
No, I agree
Knowing
with
that I
you.
can't support the premium and you throw me out based on that, right?
Sure.
So-
That's a good
Yeah.
point, too.
I agree with
I
you.
think if you talk with legal, they'll come up some language, especially if he or she and Yaz.
The only way around that's an appraisal. I mean.
It just has to support the value of the property.
Yeah, a good component of it today, chief, is having adequate money to defend us in case someone brings a case,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the component. The value of the property is the easy part.
Yeah.
You just say, yeah, no, we need to have insurance adequate to replace the building and remediate whatever damage.
Yeah, that's
That's the
easy.
easy one. The hard one is when someone gets drunk and kills somebody and we gotta defend
General
ourselves.
liability
How
and
much
personal
does the city
protection.
have to
Yeah.
carry? How much do I have to carry to cover the city?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, we're up against a,
Do we need
Another
to,
big component.
You got another meeting?
so just
11:30 we have that
I
other
carry
meeting.
an amount of insurance to cover the
I do.
people
I
who
think it'll be
stand in
over in the
street
other-
and collect money.
do we need to make a
That's
motion to
huge.
send it to safety and
That's a
service?
huge component of that
No,
policy
no.
for us.
I don't think so.
Someone
No.
gets killed,
I'm just asking.
I don't think so.
kills
Part of our
himself trying not to
permitting
hit my
process,
guys.
we're.
technically, it's still gonna be with us.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
a
sit in
huge-
different seats, but yeah,
For whatever reason, that's a big.
No, I'm saying technically it'll be
No.
with this committee.
I know.
So yeah, I would say let's, for cleanliness,
I'll make a motion.
So
make a
far,
motion to convey to,
it
Let's
goes
ask
up
her,
every
because you
year.
make another good point, is that if we send it to safety and service,
Yep.
safety and service is just before council, safety and
I
service
don't
going to
wanna make
recommend
a-
taking it to the city
Yeah.
to accept.
Yeah, so
Right.
we have to probably make.
I don't wanna make a set precedent of committee shopping and hopping.
I'm gonna go
Homework for
through
you,
the,
homework for them kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through the recording.
Ms. Monroe,
Okay.
Yes.
should we make a motion to send this to Safety and Service Committee for review? Because in the order of events, if we're gonna have Safety and Service review it, Safety and Service would be the committee to make the recommendation to bring it to council for consideration on March
So for
3rd,
cleanliness.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So
You could always add a facilities meeting the same day after safety and service.
you beat me to the punch, chief.
So are you
Sorry.
recommending it though without seeing the changes?
Yeah, let's just add a facilities meeting on that
Oh, we're,
day.
we're asking for
Let's
your.
just do the facilities meeting
That's
on that
fine.
day.
Come back to this committee. So
I
you-
agree,
Well-
because I don't wanna set a precedent of approving unfinished material.
That's good
No,
too.
you're the same members, so it makes it a little.
Yeah,
Well, right, yeah,
So,
Yeah.
you were saying,
it's the position, not the person.
yeah.
Yeah, so you could make a recommendation to forward the amended lease as discussed to safety and service.
okay,
That way,
for their review,
Which makes sense because of the alcohol that's involved in it.
and then tack on another facilities committee meeting?
If we just have the facilities committee meeting, we don't have to do that.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to make a
Well,
motion.
who's gonna recommend it to council?
Facilities.
Facilities
No,
or
no.
safety and.
No, on that date. We'll just have a meeting that date. We'll
Well,
just have a facilities meeting that date.
On the
Have safety
3rd.
service at 5 and then have
Yeah.
facilities at 6?
to
Big deal.
immediately follow?
Yep,
Well, we need to tell her that so she can publish it, that's why I'm,
yep. So facilities meeting on that date,
March 3rd.
March, yes.
Or we can just make a motion to move it to one, and then they're the ones that are recommending it. Like she said, we can make a motion in stating that we will, with the amended, that, you know, the
Yeah,
contract and the amendments will go. Or we can do a 30-minute meeting.
we'll do a 30-minute meeting.
Okay.
I think that's the
Whatever you guys
easiest way
feel
to do
most
it.
comfortable with.
So facilities committee at 5.
no, safety and service would have to go first to review.
Oh, and then send
They're not
it.
then-
gonna review anymore. Facilities will review on the same date. Safety and service just happens to also be on that date with different information.
Right, so I think it goes facilities first,
Yeah,
because we still have to have it first,
Okay.
and then
So-
safety and service.
yeah.
So, because if we're not sending it to safety and service, facilities has to meet before safety and
Yep.
service. So we'll do facilities at
Do you want the
5.
recommendation to come from facilities, or do you want to, the recommendation to council, do you want that to come from facilities or from safety?
I don't think it needs to go to safety and service.
I was only using safety and
Yeah.
service because we have
I
an
think-
established
I think-
committee
Yeah, it
to
does-
I
recommend.
think if we're doing a facilities meeting, we're still recommending it. So
Okay.
we just do a 30-minute or hour before. you know,
5 o'clock
5
facilities.
o'clock facilities. We review the amendments. We make the recommendation.
To-
We'll have our safety and service, and then go right into council.
Do you
Yeah.
think if we did facilities from 5 to 5:45 to make sure we got enough time, and then safety and service from 5:45 to 6:30?
You're saying split them 45 minutes each?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
mean,
plenty
I,
of
I feel
I
like,
think we will have
For safety service.
I don't have anything really yet.
I'm trying to think of what we're gonna have. Will we have something on the water plant or anything? Cause I know in the last meeting, there was discussion on a potential,
Yeah.
Jack said there was like a potential issue bubbling.
Well,
No,
there's-
no, we'll
That
just
may,
keep-
that may
We'll just keep
bubble
it
over by
5 to
then.
5:30 facilities.
If it
Safe-
runs over.
Yeah, if it runs over,
Yeah.
we're still sitting in the
Yeah.
same seats.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay.
Let's do it.
5 o'clock, facilities, 5:30, safety and service.
Yeah.
And we just need to make sure that we're doing our homework prior to, so that when we come to it, if there's any little things,
Yeah, we're
we
gonna
can
have,
discuss it with,
all I know is we're gonna have roads back on there. There may be something from that, and
Yeah.
I
Okay.
imagine there'll be one other thing that pops up, so that can be done in short order. Sorry, housekeeping on our
I'm still
part.
stuck on you using bubbling and bubbling on over as it pertains to the water treatment facility.
okay. I know there's an 11:30 with others, so, going back to our agenda. Excuse me. I think next on the agenda is other business. Is there any other business that we want to discuss at this point in time?
I have nothing.
No,
The only thing I wanted to discuss under other business, at our last meeting, we talked about, for hiring under professional services, which the manager would enter into agreement with that, of a commercial realtor for potentially, at any point in time in the future, if the city desired to purchase land and building, that we have somebody that's, for lack of better words, they're at our peril to use, instead of, getting it out of the way now.
We also discussed the CIC, and where are we with that? I mean, those do go hand in hand, don't they?
can be.
They can be, but I don't see the CIC,
The CIC's not gonna have money in the next 6 months to a year to move us forward, though.
Okay.
I feel like.
love the idea.
Yeah, I feel like
It's just in
we,
reality, I don't know where the money's gonna come from.
yeah, and I mean, as far as getting it there would be in a position to represent or help the city or assist or whatever way of
Yeah.
purchasing land and building. I feel like it's at minimum 6 months away, if not a year. So by having a commercial realtor under
I
contract,
think we need a commercial realtor. Would we want to approve that person?
well, that's where I'm going, that I'd like to come out of this meeting.
If we have an executive, I don't wanna necessarily approve.
We'd
I
have
mean,
to
obviously,
interview.
obviously, we're not gonna do that today, but it would be a service, so we wouldn't have to put it out to bidding or anything
No.
like that, but I wouldn't wanna necessarily approve them in a meeting, because you're gonna have them, I mean, everybody will know who our realtor is, so it might as well just be our attorney.
Yeah.
At that point, so, because anytime the city shows up to a property and says we're interested, that price goes up.
I don't know the best way to do it. I'm just bringing it up.
I'm with you, I'm doing it live too, so that's what I
Do you
mean.
think we should, do you guys think you should tell me as the chairperson to reach out to our legal office and ask for advice of how to handle that?
Yeah, I talked to Yaz a couple weeks ago. But I didn't go through with anything, I just kinda talked about the function of how it all works.
Well, why don't you follow up with our legal counsel then and ask the best way to do that? To ascertain the services of a professional.
I think that's the way to go, is to hire somebody. I just don't know if the best process is to make
Well, then
it
I
public.
agree. Let's proceed with asking legal
Yeah,
and making sure that we do have the right process in order to do it, and then discuss it before making the
Yeah.
decision of
Yeah.
what we do.
yeah, like I said, I wanna do it the
So
right
get
way.
that done before
Yeah.
our March
Alright.
3rd meeting, so that we know how to proceed to recommend to council of what to do.
Yep.
Good?
Yes.
Anything else, other business?
No, sir.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, everyone.